I can see this is going to be a common theme for the rest of the year. Everyone that's a UCF fan is going to complain about college football and say that it's unfair and that they want a handout because we deserve it and because we love an underdog story. Well, I'm here to tell you no. So this week, Danny White, the athletic director at UCF, embarrassed himself with some letter to no one, namely the game day crew as a whole, and he basically complained about the way they were talking about UCF and dismissing their playoff chances or potential playoff chances, which they did exactly what they should do: evaluate the teams and speak about them honestly. That's what we're all supposed to do as analysts. I'm not here to give you a handout, Danny White. And quite frankly, you should stop asking for a welfare spot in the college football playoff. You already have a welfare spot in the New Year's Six Bowls. You occupied that spot last year. Good for you. And you beat Auburn. Good for you. None of that means that you deserve inclusion into the 4-team college football playoff, which right now, as defined, is supposed to be the 4 best teams in college football going to compete for the championship. You, under no circumstance, UCF, would fall under that umbrella as one of the 4 best teams in the country, and no actual analyst or computer would ever put you in that spot. Why? Because we can think and we can analyze and we can look at data and we understand what we're looking at. One of the rating systems that I actually like a lot, and I've dug into the numbers of all of them, is Jeff Sagarin's computer rankings. He was included in the BCS, and his ratings have been around for quite a while, and they're very accurate. Very accurate based on what we see on the field. Well, if you go to the Sagarin ratings this week, here's what you'll find: that UCF is pretty appropriately ranked or rated as the 28th best team in college football. Now, for any group of 5 team, would you say like, hey, that's pretty good? Yes, of course, that's very good. No one's saying that it's not, and no one's saying that UCF is a bad team. Well, did you know that just behind them at the 29th spot is an FCS team, North Dakota State? North Dakota State is also 7-0. They've won a national championship in 6 of the last 7 years or something ridiculous like that. That's a great program. They've had NFL players come out of there, namely Carson Wentz, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. By the way, if you look at the schedules that both of those teams play, you might think to yourself, North Dakota State's would be clearly weaker than UCF's because, FCS, FBS. Not the case. According to the Sagarin ratings, UCF schedules the 127th ranked schedule in the country. 127. 127. Guess where North Dakota State falls? An FCS school. 128. So my question to you, Danny White, is, should we include North Dakota State as well? Because, Cinderellas. The bottom line is they don't deserve it. No group of 5 team does, by the way. If you play a group of 5 schedule and you win that league, that's all well and good. But that's like competing in 4A football on the high school level versus 5A football on the high school level. Just because you go undefeated as a 4A team does not mean you compete for the 5A state championship. My contention is this: including any group of 5 team into the 4-team playoff would be penalizing upwards of 20 to 25 Power 5 teams for playing in those leagues. Why in the world would we penalize those teams? They're not only good enough, but we can genuinely look, rate, analyze the data to see that they are as good or better than any of those group of 5 teams, which means that they would have gone undefeated with that schedule in front of them as well. So why should we punish them? Because what? We love a good underdog story? At me all you want. But one thing I do know, your team doesn't deserve inclusion into the most coveted spots in college football, namely the 4 playoff spots. Take a seat.